Each year, roughly 300 hard enduro competitors gather in the small snowy mountains town of Corryong, Victoria, to race around one of the Australian Hard Enduro Championships. In 2023, it was Beta Australia's Ruben Chadwick who was victorious in the gold class, and he now carries the #1 plate heading into this season.
Got a bit of a target on my back now, and I know a few of the other boys have been training pretty hard, so it's going to be interesting. It's you never know who's been working the hardest and who's going to pull a lead.
Sherco Australia's Anthony Solar is looking to take back the championship crown after winning in 2022 and finishing a close second last year.
Yeah, definitely. Last year was a bit of a learning curve, but we've learnt from last year and we're coming into this year fit and strong. So everything's looking good and feeling fit and healthy this weekend.
Although this property's location, surrounded by mountains in a picturesque valley, is beautiful, the course itself is certainly not forgiving. Riders will face some of the steepest hills of the series, as well as soil that tends to break down quite easily if hit by rain.
If it's wet, it can be very, very slippery and slimy, but if it's dry, it can be very dry and bull dusty. So
having that strength and being tall helps a lot, and then just bikes it up, constantly tweaking the bike. And
this weekend, riders will be looking to make their presence known as front runners in the series.
We're here to do some racing, and we'll see who's going to be on top at the end.
Today is Saturday, prologue day. Riders will take off in their respective classes to complete a 45-minute cross-country style race. The results of their prologue will determine starting positions for tomorrow's race. First up is the Juniors Prologue. This is a new addition to the series this year, consisting of riders between 13 and 16 on 125 to 250cc bikes. Riders follow the track through a route recording device or app on their phone, but that doesn't prevent the possibility of getting lost on the course. The 851 machine of Alex Dunley is able to keep consistent throughout the race, leading from start to finish and establishing himself as the rider to beat ahead of the race later this afternoon. Bronze riders begin to make their way to the starting line for their prologue. Each year we see new talent emerge from this class, certainly making it one to watch. The rain begins to fall as the bronze riders are on the line, setting the theme for the rest of the weekend. The 747 of Aidan Rodriguez leads for the majority of the race, but towards the end, Thomas Armstrong on the 523 is able to make the pass and arrive at the checkers first. Next we see the Silver class lineup for their prologue. Another group that proves to breed future champions as well as provide some of the series' most intense racing. The 247 of James Laugenson gets a good jump aboard his Stuck Varg. Light rain throughout Silver's prologue provides the course with the perfect amount of moisture, making for some of the most pleasant conditions of the weekend. The lead of the race swaps between multiple riders, but towards the end, the 396 of Jared Shuret is able to get into the lead and bring his competitors home. More clouds roll over and rain begins to fall heavier and heavier. The course begins to deteriorate. The gold class is well aware of this as they wait on the line for their prologue. This is the first time we have seen Australia's best hard enduro riders on track since last year. The question is, who will establish themselves as the rider to beat? The reigning champion of Ruben Chadwick takes command of the race early, pulling a decent lead and looking comfortable while the course becomes increasingly challenging. Robert Nowak on the number 7 KTM sits in third, where he would stay the entire race. As the riders make their way into the tougher sections of the course, Chadwick is managing to keep his lead, but has Anthony Sola hot on his heels.
Yeah, I think last year, I had maybe a little bit of a speed advantage in some of the easier sections. This prologue here is going to be a lot harder than normal, so I could even us out a bit, we'll see.
Making his way past Chadwick deep into their final lap, Anthony Sola comes across the finish line in first place. Providing rain began to fall mid-race, making conditions increasingly tough as the laps went on. Sola's off-season training is proving to be paying off. Can he continue this form in the 4-hour race tomorrow? Although the end of Saturday's action is near, one more battle remains: the juniors race. The heaviest rain of the entire weekend begins to fall as the juniors are lining up for their race. Looking out onto the course, the riders anticipate the toughest conditions of the weekend. Alex Dunley, winner of this morning's prologue, leads the juniors out and into the carnage. Skies begin to clear up as the juniors race comes to an end, making for heavy and sticky conditions. Once again, it's the 851 of Alex Dunley aboard his Beta that makes it across the line first, dominating the junior class at the Kosciuszko Killer. The effort of these juniors to complete this race on such a brutal track is to be commended. Will we see future gold champions emerge from this class?
These guys are the future of the sport, and every other junior who took it on today, stick with it. Absolutely incredible talent out there today. And thanks to the mum and dads who bring them and financially support them through the series. And we'll see you all again sometime soon if you don't stick around for tomorrow, but you're more than welcome to stick around and watch the action of the seniors tomorrow.
Coming in at a respectable third place overall is the 74 of Riley Bloom. Second place is the 38 of Adam Cheraskowicz. And of course, taking the overall win in the juniors class is the 851 of Alex Dunley. With Saturday's prologue now complete, starting positions as well as expectations for tomorrow's race have been set.
Yeah, in case anyone's wondering, tomorrow's loop is going to be about 15 to 15 and a half, maybe up to 16 k's. Your rear wheel might do 30 k's if it's wet. It is a difficult track. It is difficult terrain. If you find you're in a bit of trouble tomorrow, if you're out of your depth, please withdraw from the event. I don't want anybody killed or anybody severely injured. You will be going into some remote areas. If you do suffer from a major injury, it could take us an hour to get to you. So if you think it's out of your depth, please withdraw. Aside from that, get some good sleep tonight. We'll see you tomorrow morning, and hopefully the skies stay like this for the entire day tomorrow. Take care. Cheers.
Riders will make sure to get a good night's rest in, as they will certainly be needing it for tomorrow. It's 7 AM. The sun has only just risen and our riders are lining up ready for today's race. Each class will take off separately, with gold leaving the grid first and heading up into the mountains for a 4-hour hard enduro. Riders have until 2:30 PM to complete their lap, then the track is closed and evacuated. The rain returned throughout the night, leaving the track deep and muddy. This will make the race increasingly tougher than expected, and will be a true test of champions. Anthony Sola, winner of yesterday's prologue, is the first of 280 riders to take off. Ruben Chadwick follows in second. He tries his luck on the wall, not making it up without a fight. Sola's teammate Chris Perry chucks his goggles almost instantly off the start, a smart move considering the conditions. As we get further back in the grid, riders begin to take off in rows of 5. The rest of our riders come through and head up into the mountains. The conditions are proving to be tricky. The rain has made obstacles slippery, and the hundreds of bikes on track are chewing the race line up further and further. Riders begin to help each other on obstacles. This will benefit all parties in the long run, ensuring everyone makes it through the course's tougher obstacles. At the head of the pack, Ruben Chadwick grabs an early lead and is looking to extend it while trying to keep clean amidst the mud. Anthony Sola is comfortably in second, and not too far behind Ruben at the start of the race. He navigates the course's steeper sections with ease, showing why he was able to take the win in yesterday's prologue.
You know, you've got to get through in one piece, and so being consistent is the main key. I think my previous championship was definitely down to consistency. I wasn't always on top, but I was always in that second, third position and just keeping consistency, whereas some boys would win but then fall back.
Riders have the opportunity for a pit stop during the race. Their team will be waiting for them at the checkpoint, with water, food and fuel for the bikes, all three being essential for completion of the race. Midway through their lap, riders will be faced with one of the steepest hill climbs and descents on the track. This obstacle is named Fig Tree, and it is famous to the Kosciuszko killer.
Basically a pretty steep hill up beside it that's going to take a lot of just throttle action, drive through it and trying to keep the bike planted and stuck to the hill. And then we got to come down the old Fig Tree, which it'll be interesting, but I do like my downhills. I love being up on the pegs, standing up and just sending it down. So
towards the end of the lap, at the most northern end of the track, the riders are greeted with open grasslands. This area features wide open hills and paddocks, providing a bit of a rest from the gnarly hill climbs and rocks on the rest of the course. Riders on their final lap begin to make their way down to the finish line. Almost simulating yesterday's prologue, Anthony Sola hunts down Chadwick late in the race to take the lead in the win. Absolutely dominating the entire Kosciuszko killer, Sola takes the red plate heading to round 2. Ruben Chadwick crosses the line in second after a hard-fought battle for the lead. Although a solid finish, it is evident Chadwick is disappointed with the final outcome of the race. Rounding out the overall podium in third place is the number 6 of Wade Ibrahim, a competitor who you know will always be up at the pointy end in tough conditions. As riders come in to meet the checkered flag, their team is eagerly waiting for them. Despite the result, even completing a lap of this course is truly commendable. Riders reflect and teams begin the pack up. As we have competitors here from all over the country, most people have a very long commute home. First, trophies must be given out and celebrations must be had for our podiums. Taking first overall in the bronze class is Thomas Armstrong.
Thomas, you said this is your first ever hard enduro, is that correct?
Yeah, mate.
Tell us a little bit about your race and riding history.
Raced motocross for like 8 years, I think, and the Gippsland series, did a heap in that, and then thought I'd race an enduro.
First overall in the highly competitive silver class is Timon Wegner, after fighting to take today's race win. And of course it is Anthony Sola aboard his Sherco Australia machine, who dominates the gold class at the Kosciuszko Killer, setting the scene for the rest of the series. The property in which this event is held has provided some great racing, but more importantly, great memories over the years. This is all thanks to property owners Tom Lebner and Sally Permise. Unfortunately, this may be the last event that we see run at this property.
We're just so glad that we said yes when the opportunity presented, and we've loved it ever since, so thank you.
Yeah, I said, yeah, find out a bit about it. And thinking there's half a dozen blokes getting on the piss here, riding behind us around, and made a pain in the ass. Anyway, we come down here and Greg said, oh, what can we use? And I said, all that. Greg said, all that? I said, yeah, it's all to use, all that. Anyway, Greg said, oh, we could have a bit of an obstacle course. Need a few rocks and logs. Yeah, righto, so I've got a couple of logs about that diameter. A couple of rocks about big as footies put there, and Greg said, oh, well, not really what I was thinking. Greg said a mud mat down, and that's how that prologue started. Righto, we've got a bit of work to do.
Tom actually built that prologue all by himself.
Yeah.
I just sent him a mud mat, and then he sends me photos. He goes, "Is that do it?" I'm like, "Bloody hell!" I wasn't expecting that. So,
thank you to Tom and Sally for allowing Australian hard enduro racing to thrive at their property for many, many years. We look forward to seeing you at round 2, the Goldfields Extreme in Bathurst, New South Wales.